In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up an Educreations account for each student in your class. This way it'll allow each of your students to have their own unique account for Educreations. So let me log out of this account really quick and just show you. So what I would do is I would already have created a master account for the teacher only. So what I'm going to do is I would log in with that master account that I've created. So we're going to pretend that this is my master teacher account. Students do not have access to this account. The teacher would be the only one that would have access to this account. From here, you're able to go ahead and create an account basically for each and every student. This is the dashboard once you log in. So I'm logged in as my teacher account. What I want to do to make it so that each student can have his or her own account is I'm going to create a course. So what I would want to do is I would give this course name just my class school year. So I would say my class code, since it's 1F, and we'll pretend this is for last school year, so we'd say 12-13. I'll leave the subject areas to all, since we'll talk about all the subjects in my first grade classroom. I can create a description if I want. I can set the visibility to just my students, or I can set it to visible to all at my school. That's really your preference. I'll just set it to visible to my students. And then also there's an option to enable question and answers for lessons in this course. You can check it, uncheck it. If you have a question about it, it'll give you a little question mark here that you can see. Once you've got the course title that you want, the description, you're going to click Create. Once you've clicked Created, you've successfully created, you can see right here, here's my class course that I just made, 1F, 12, and 13 now. You can see that if I click on students, there's no students here. I can go to my settings tab, and that's where it can tweak some of the stuff that I set as a default when I first created this course. And then I can go back and look at lessons. So this would be lessons showing up that I've created. If I click on students, I want to show you one thing, and this is where it's kind of a nice, easy feature to create an account for each student. You can see here it gives you the option of giving the students a course code. So this 8 uppercase B uppercase F 18 uppercase F, that's a unique identifier for this course, 1F 12-13. So what I could do is I could also give them this whole URL that would let them register, or I can just give them this code. So what I'd do is I'd give them this code. I'm going to copy it for right now so I can show you what they would do. So those students then would have this code, this access code that's unique to my course. I'm going to log out here. So that student then, they could do this on the iPad, or they could do it online. They're going to go and they're going to click sign up for free. Now in this situation, they're going to be a student, so they're going to want to click on student. And you can see here it asks, do you have a course code? They're going to click yes, because that's the course code that we copied. So if I click yes, it'll give me the option to type in that course code. So there's that course code. Now if I click continue, here is where they get to register for this class that I created. So what they would do is enter their name, and I'll just use my name for this. So they would enter their first and last name, and then down here it tells you that they need an email or a username. If they don't have an email, this is the nice thing about Educreations, is they don't have to have an email. They can just come up with a unique username. So I'm going to do my initials, and we'll do 12-13 for the school year. And then we'll just enter a generic password for right now. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, since I'm going to delete this after. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you notify me about new features, the problem is they don't have an email. So they're not going to send an email, but they might have little pop-ups for them. So you can uncheck or check that. It's up to you. They may click sign up. Once they've clicked sign up, you can see that their account is now created. Now each student would actually have to do this individually to create his or her own account. Now what this does, if I click on this green button, start using the site, it'll show you now that it says welcome Andrew. Since I created it with my own name, it shows that I'm logged in, and it shows me which classes I am part of, which is 1F, 12, and 13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out and show you how a student would log in. So again, here the student will click to log in. Email, since they didn't have an email, they'd have to use their username, which I made it AF. And there you can see it pop up 1213, and the password is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then login will give me that same screen that I just showed you. So you can see here this student is now logged in. So again, this is a way that each student would have to go and create his or her own account on Educreations that would be tied to the course that you're creating for your students to use. Again, this would be a way that students would have their own account. They would have to remember their username and password. Now, some of the nice features about this is it allows you, if I went back into the teacher account here, so again, that's the iPads, and log in here as a teacher. Now for my classes, you can see now that my dashboard shows that Andrew Fenstermaker is now a student of this course that I made. The course was 1F12-13. I entered myself as a student. Now you can see that it updates me kind of like a news feed of what's happening in this class. So with this 1F12 and 13, if I click on this class, I can create a new lesson. So let's say I wanted to make a lesson. Again, I can do this on the iPad. So let's say that I am talking about, we'll allow this here. So I'm going to say that we're talking about adding. So we'll talk about how we can take 1 plus 1, and that would give us a total of 2. That could be the lesson. Click save. If I save it, it's going to go ahead and save that. I can title the lesson Addition Lesson 1. You can see I can add it to which course. If I had more than one course, it would show. I'm going to choose what subject area it applies to, visible to my students. I can give a summary if I want, but I'm just going to title this Addition Lesson 1. If I save it, it's going to go ahead and save it. You can see that underneath my teacher account, there's that new lesson that I created specifically for my 1F, 12, and 13. So I'm logged in as the teacher account, so let me log out. I'm going to log back in now as a student. Remember that was at 1F, 12, 13. Go ahead and log in with the password. Now, if they click, you see their dashboard shows up saying that 1F class, that would be me, that I created a new lesson, and there it shows up. So if they click on 1F, 12, and 13, there is the lesson that I created. So it automatically kind of creates a little file system for them that will show their lesson. So they can then go ahead and they can watch this lesson. If they had questions about it, they could type in their questions and ask questions. But in the end, when they're all done, if they really wanted to, they could then go ahead and they could create their own lesson back to me. So let's say that that student then said, you know what, I can understand what you're telling me, so let me show you what I understand about this. So let's do 2 plus 2 now, and this together would represent a total of 4. So that student's done. They're going to save it. So this student is saving their example lesson. And then I'll enter my name saying that this is the lesson that I made. And you can see down here it already gives them permission. After saving your lesson, you and your teachers will be able to view it on your profile page. So if I click save, that's the lesson that that student made in response to my initial addition of 1 plus 1. So let me log out here and show you. If I log back in as the teacher account, that iPads, what it'll let me show you then is how that student, you can see you in Addition Lesson 1. So I shared that. But now if I click on my course and I click on students, you can see here's the student that's in here. And you can see if I click on that student's name, it'll show me the lesson that he or she made in response to the initial. So you can see it can kind of be a little bit of a complicated process, but there's some pros and cons to being able to give each student their own personal account for Educreations.